Okay, for today's lesson, you're going to need your composition book for notes and a pen or a pencil. Go ahead and hit pause and gather those materials. Today we're going to talk about rates, ratio, and unit rates. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities. For example, if I wanted to write the ratio of 5 to 11, I could write it in 3 different ways. With the colon sign, which would be 5 colon 11. With the word 2, which would be 5 to 11. And as a fraction, which would be 5 over 11. Go ahead and note that in most cases, we're going to use the fraction form of ratios. Go ahead and hit pause and copy these down. So let's say I wanted to compare 6 3/4 to 7 2/5, and I wanted to write it as a ratio. You would actually leave it in fraction form and write it as a fraction. This is one way to write it as a ratio, and another way is to write it like this. And for right now, you're just going to keep it like that. How about if I wanted to write a ratio of 6 boys to 4 girls? Why don't you hit pause and try that? Okay. If I wanted to write a ratio of 6 boys to 4 girls, I would do 6 over 4. However, that would be incorrect. Can you tell me why? Because it needs to be reduced. Even though it's a comparison of two quantities, it can be reduced. So this would be reduced to 3 over 2. Now, I would leave it as 3 over 2, but why? Why do I leave it improper? Because a ratio is a comparison of two items. If I change that to 1 1/2, I'm not comparing two items anymore. So it needs to be left as 3 over 2. How come I didn't write it as 4 over 6? Because it said in the problem, boys to girls, not girls to boys. Okay, I want you to write the following ratios. Hit pause as needed. What is the ratio of wins to losses from York? Hit pause. Okay, so York had 10 wins and 8 losses. So 10 over 8 would reduce to 5 over 4. How'd you do? Did you forget to reduce? Excellent. Now I want you to write the ratio of wins to losses from Knox. Hit pause. That would be 12 over 8, which would reduce to 3 over 2. Excellent. Now I want you to write the ratio of York wins to McCullough wins. Correct. 10 over 15 would reduce to 2 over 3. Now a rate is when you compare two different quantities. For example, a ratio would be comparing 90 to 3. A rate would be comparing 90 miles to 3 hours. We'd also read this as 90 miles per 3 hours. Now, a unit rate is when your bottom number of your fraction or your comparison comes out to be 1. For example, if I look at the ratio 90 over 3, I could simplify this by dividing 90 by 3 and getting 30 over 1. And that would be my unit rate because it's per one item. 30 miles per 1 hour. Okay, so Jeff can type 30 words in half a minute. How many words can he type in 1 minute? Hit pause and try and find the unit rate. Remember, this is half a minute and you want to find out for 1 minute. Okay, so your rate would be 30 words for half a minute. To find out how much for 1 minute, you take the top divided by the bottom. So this would be 30 divided by 1/2 or 30 divided by 0.5. Either way, you're going to get 60. So Jeff can type 60 words in 1 minute. Now, could you have done this mentally? Yes, you could have done this mentally. Okay, so suppose a car drives 200 miles in 4 hours. What is the ratio of miles per hour? Actually, find the unit rate of miles per hour. Hit pause. Okay, so 200 miles over 4 hours, 200 divided by 4 would give me 50 miles per hour. How'd you do? Awesome! Okay, I want you to find the unit rate for 192 calories in 6 ounces of yogurt. Unit rate means I'm finding how many calories in 1 ounce. Go ahead and hit pause and work it out. Did you get 32 calories per ounce? Excellent. Okay, when we use unit price, it's good to find best buys. Now, suppose you go to the store and you're checking the different prices and you want to see which one of these is the better deal. A lot of people seem to think that the bigger one's always the better deal, and that's not always necessarily true. So you have to find out how much each item costs per unit. Now, when you're doing better buys or best buys, money always goes on top. Hit pause and write that down. Money always goes on top. Okay, determining the best buy, I would want to do 216 divided by 18, 312 divided by 24, and 350 divided by 28. And that would give me the price per ounce on each one of them. Sometimes you have to round them out to the thousandths if necessary. So what I want you to do is hit pause and find the unit price for each one of these items. Okay, so on the 18 ounces, if you did 216 divided by 18, you would have gotten 12 cents per ounce. On the 24, you would have done 312 divided by 24 and gotten 13 cents per ounce. And on the 28 ounces, you would have done 350 divided by 28 and gotten 0.125. So of these three, which is the better price? The 18 ounce size. So the 18 ounce one is the better buy. I want you to figure out the better buy on these. Hit pause class tomorrow with the answer on which one is the better buy. Have a nice evening.